episode of welcome to another episode, of throwing it back with Sean Farrell. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. Jesus Christ died and he rose again. Amen. So, Michael Jordan's competitive ability often led him to, it's one of the many things that led him to greatness. His drive, his competitive ability, his work ethic, led him to multiple 6 NBA championships, 5-time MVP, 10-time scoring champion, one of the top 50 of all time. So I saw this story a while back where when Jordan came back in 1995, he was still the hyper competitive Michael Jordan, So I saw how this story, it defined every second of his approach to life. There was no in between for his airness. Mike will often get lost in his competitive spirit, especially after being out for some time. But there was one teammate who kept him in line. And surprise, surprise, it was not Scottie Pippen. Surprisingly enough, it was Luc Longley who kept Jordan in line. No, real talk, okay? Michael Jordan said this on Luc Longley. When you have people like myself who are somewhat aggressive, we live in every moment. We want to dominate every little moment. And we forget about how simple life is, how simple the moment may be. This is where he was a great teammate and helped me mature as a person, Jordan said. Okay. So whoever thought that Luc Longley would help Michael Jordan back off his killer mentality just a wee bit. He still had that killer mentality. Michael Jordan still had that killer mentality, but I think he brought out that killer mentality at certain times when he came back. Jordan often said, well, no, it wasn't Jordan. The Aussie's big ability, the Aussie meaning Luc Longley. Luc Longley's ability to stay composed in high-stress situations was a must for MJ and the Bulls. He became a quiet but essential counterbalance to the high-octane energy around him, embodying a philosophy that began to challenge the way the 5-time MVP approached his leadership. The big man became the first Australian to win an NBA title after being thrust into the forefront of the Bulls starting center in their historic 72-10 season, 1997-1998. Number 23's relationship with teammates were primarily professional. He didn't expect anything less than endless drive in practice sessions and during the game. However, his relationship with the Australian center was more than that, as they formed a loyal friendship on and off the court. I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good when the greatest player of all time can forge those type of relationships with certain players, okay? I remember when Scott Williams came to the Chicago Bulls as a free agent before the 1990-91 season, okay? Scott Williams came to the Bulls, and he had played for none other than North Carolina and Dean Smith. And Michael Jordan was so happy that a North Carolina player had been signed. And so he and Michael Jordan became close as teammates and as friends off the court. Scott Williams says to his day that whenever he texts Jordan, he gets a response. Okay. So he had close relationships with Luc Longley. He had a good relationship with B.J. Armstrong. However, there was one person that Jordan did ride hard, and I know you're thinking Scottie Pippen, but I remember when Horace Grant got drafted in 1987. When Horace Grant was drafted in 1987, I can't hit you not. Michael called him dummy. I I kid you not. I kid you not. As players, as coaches. Horace Grant used to be called dummy by Michael Jordan. And not only that, Michael Jordan would call him dummy to his face. He called Horace Grant dummy to his face. Okay. So there were the teammates that Jordan didn't have a great relationship with. Many people may not know this, but there was a blow up right before the 1992-93 season began. Jordan and Pippen had played in the Olympics the entire summer, and when training camp started, Phil Jackson gave Jordan and Pippen time off during training camp because they had been playing the whole year, the whole summer in the Olympics. So Phil Jackson wanted to give his stars a few days off in training camp, and Horace Grant thought that was a double standard, and Horace Grant blew up, and Phil Jackson had to calm him down. And so, the fabric of the team was broken when Horace Grant had that blow up in training camp. Okay, so, yeah. So, I was watching a game the other day. Oh, I got the hiccups now. Lord have mercy. If I start hiccuping, I'm probably gonna have to cut this video short. Okay. So I was watching that Scottie Pippen interview on Patrick Bet-David, and it really got me to thinking: is Scottie Pippen better, or does Scottie Pippen flip flop? Okay. Because I saw where he said The Last Dance was actually pretty good. Okay. The Last Dance was pretty good. So Scottie changed his tune on that. Okay. Scottie changed his tune on The Last Dance. And I'm like, where did this come from? And he says he still hasn't spoken to MJ since 2020. And so I watched that Scottie Pippen interview. And I saw down in the comments that people were saying he's flip-flopping. He flip-flops often. I didn't read his book, Unguarded, but hearing the way he talks, I kind of want to read it now. Hearing the way he kind of talks about Jordan, okay? Saying how Phil Jackson was racist for not giving him the last shot at the 1994 Eastern Conference semifinals versus the Knicks. Okay. I've talked about this before, but there was a game in Phoenix. Okay. There was a game in Phoenix right before the All-Star break. The finals rematch. Phil Jackson gave Pippen the last shot, and not only did Pippen miss, he missed badly. Okay. And Tony Kukoc had already hit a couple of game winners earlier in the season, up until the All-Star break, okay? So nobody knows his team better than the head coach, okay? And so Phil Jackson had more trust in Tony Kukoc. And Phil Jackson recalls it. He says he got a call from Michael the next day when Scottie decided not to go in. And he said, I don't think Scottie's gonna be able to ever live this down. Okay. And so, yeah, yeah, it led to ramifications, which is a perfect segue into the next thing. So the Seattle Supersonics got eliminated by the Denver Nuggets in the first round of the 1994 playoffs. There were ramifications for that, almost ramifications for that. Okay. With the Seattle Supersonics making history as the first 1 seed to ever lose to an 8 seed. The Phoenix Suns nearly achieved that the year before when the Lakers nearly took him out in the first round. But the Sonics became the first team to lose to an 8 seed. And then there were the ramifications from Scottie Pippen not going on the court against the Knicks. And so the ramifications were this. Jerry Krause was so enraged by that they were talking a trade with Seattle. They were talking a trade with Seattle. I think the deal was this. They would trade Pippen to Seattle for Sean Kemp. And the Bulls would get a high draft pick. The Bulls would get a high draft pick, and that would enable Jerry Krause to take Eddie Jones from Temple. Okay. So the deal was done. The deal was done. Then at 11:59 p.m., the Sonics said no. Yeah. So at 11:59 p.m., the Sonics said, nah, we're good. We're good. So, yeah, if that trade had gone through, the Bulls don't win. The Bulls still have three championships. Scottie Pippen doesn't have 6 rings, nor does Michael Jordan, nor does Jordan even come back. So I just couldn't imagine Sean Kemp in a Bulls uniform, nor could I see Scottie Pippen in a Sonics uniform. That just looks weird. And I bet nobody could imagine Michael Jordan in a Wizards uniform. But when Michael Jordan came back with the Wizards, I don't think people really cared. They all they cared about was that Jordan was back in the league. Okay, so yeah, but there were some ramifications from the 1994 NBA playoffs, and if those ramifications had gone through, I think the Utah Jazz would have a championship. The Seattle Supersonics would probably have a championship. The Houston Rockets would still probably win 2 straight championships. Okay. But yeah, there are certain trades that if they had gone through, you say, what if? What if that Pippen and Kemp trade had gone down? What if this had happened? What if Kobe Bryant went to the Chicago Bulls in 2008? According to Kobe Bryant, it was close. According to Kobe Bryant, it was close. Kobe's own words. Kobe said it was closer than you think it was, but didn't happen. So yeah, sometimes when trades don't happen, they end up being the best thing that never happened. Okay. So, yeah. All right. That's it. And that's all for Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. I'm out of here, y'all. May God bless y'all. Peace out.